Have you ever caught yourself thinking, how do I take care of myself when everything in me feels different? Or maybe, I should be happy. So why do I feel so lost? If these thoughts cut through you, you're not alone. The truth is that postpartum is one of the most intense periods in a woman's life, yet it's treated as if it were simply the phase after birth. But it's not. Postpartum is a silent earthquake, a mix of crashing hormones, sleepless nights, new pains, disorganized emotions, and a baby who depends on you for absolutely everything. Meanwhile, no one asks, and you, who's taking care of you? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to care for yourself during postpartum, even when it feels impossible. Before anything else, go ahead and like this video, comment "I need this" so I know this content is helping you, and subscribe to the channel to keep receiving real emotional support. Take a breath. We'll walk through this together. If there's one thing almost every woman says after giving birth, it's, "I had no idea it would be this intense." And no one really does, because postpartum doesn't show up in baby photos or in the family congratulations. It happens behind the scenes, in rushed showers, in meals that get cold before you can eat them, in the foggy thoughts, in the feeling that you've lost the old version of yourself. Biologically, this makes complete sense. In less than 48 hours, your body goes through such a drastic hormonal drop that, in any other clinical situation, you'd be monitored in a hospital. Progesterone and estrogen plummet, prolactin rises, oxytocin fluctuates. It's as if your body is recalibrating everything while you try to care for a newborn. And emotionally, you're grieving your old life even while loving your baby. That isn't selfishness, it's human. This invisible shock also comes with a silent pressure. Be strong, handle everything, be grateful. And this creates a dangerous isolation. Mothers suffer in silence because they believe they should feel happy all the time, but constant happiness doesn't exist, especially not in postpartum. The first step in taking care of yourself is understanding that what you're feeling is legitimate, expected, and common. You are not failing, you are adjusting. Now that we've acknowledged this initial impact, in the next chapter we'll talk about the hormonal chaos and how it affects your mind in ways you may have never heard explained before. Hormones aren't just up and down in postpartum, they behave more like a roller coaster you didn't choose to ride. Moving faster than your emotions can keep up. And the hardest part is that these changes don't ask for permission. One day you feel stable and the next you're crying because the baby's sock fell on the floor. It doesn't make sense logically, but hormonally, it makes perfect sense. Right after birth, estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that kept your pregnancy stable, drop by nearly 90%. Imagine your brain suddenly losing the chemicals that kept things balanced for 9 months. At the same time, prolactin rises to help with milk production, and oxytocin spikes and falls depending on feeding, sleep, and stress. These shifts affect your emotional regulation, memory, patience, and even your sense of identity. It's not dramatic. It's biology shaping your inner world. That's why you might cry at commercials, feel irritated at your partner for breathing too loudly, or swing from gratitude to overwhelm in minutes. It doesn't mean you're unstable. It means your brain is rewiring itself for motherhood. Neuroscientists call this matrescence, a neurological transformation as real as adolescence. But unlike teenagers, mothers are expected to remain composed, functional, and grateful. That expectation crushes women. Caring for yourself in this hormonal storm starts with recognition, not resistance. Notice your emotional waves without judging them. When you feel sadness rise, say to yourself, "This is a hormonal surge, not a failure." When irritability hits, take one slow breath before speaking. These tiny moments of awareness protect your relationships and your emotional stability. Another powerful step is regulating your nervous system with simple sensory practices. Warm showers can calm cortisol. Gentle stretching releases tension stored in your shoulders and jaw. Eating every 3 hours stabilizes blood sugar, which directly stabilizes mood. Sleep, even in fragmented pieces, supports emotional recovery more than you realize. And please remember, needing more rest, more help, or more quiet does not make you weak. It makes you human. Your hormones are not sabotaging you. They are guiding your body through one of the biggest transitions of your life. Treat yourself with the same tenderness you offer your baby. Your body after childbirth can feel like unfamiliar territory. It's not just tired, it's recovering from a marathon, major hormonal shifts, and sometimes medical interventions. And yet, in the middle of this physical chaos, you're expected to function as if nothing happened. Caring for yourself starts with acknowledging the truth. Your body is healing, and healing requires compassion, not pressure. The soreness in your pelvis, the bleeding, the tender breasts, the weakness in your core, these are not inconveniences. They're signs that your body is working. Many women feel frustrated when their body doesn't bounce back, but there is no bouncing back. There is rebuilding. Slowly, gently, intentionally. Start with the basics. Hydration fuels milk production and helps regulate mood. Aim for small sips throughout the day instead of forcing large amounts at once. Nourish yourself with warm, easy-to-digest meals, soups, broths, cooked vegetables, proteins that don't demand too much energy to process. Your digestive system also slows after birth, so be patient with it. Then, move with awareness. Forget intense workouts. In the early weeks, even standing up from bed with proper support can protect your pelvic floor. Try rolling to your side and using your arms to push up rather than straining your abdomen. This small adjustment prevents unnecessary pressure on healing tissue. Breathing exercises can also reconnect you with your body. Place one hand on your lower belly and inhale gently through your nose, feeling the expansion. Exhale slowly, letting your belly soften. This helps reactivate deep core muscles that pregnancy naturally stretches and weakens. Just 3 minutes of this can reduce pain and improve posture. And let's talk about pain. It is not a test of your strength. If you're hurting, tell your healthcare provider. If breastfeeding is painful, you're not doing it wrong. You're learning a skill that requires adjustment and support. If you had a C-section, give yourself permission to move slowly and ask for help lifting anything heavier than your baby. Most importantly, celebrate small victories. A shower taken, a meal eaten, a slow walk outside. These are acts of healing, not insignificance. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs kindness. You grew and delivered life. Now it's your turn to be cared for, gently and without apology. There's a weight you start carrying the moment your baby is born, and it's not physical. It's the mental load, the invisible checklist running in your mind every second of the day. Did the baby eat enough? Is the diaper rash getting worse? When was the last nap? Did I drink water today? Did I forget something important? This constant vigilance is exhausting, and yet most mothers blame themselves for feeling drained. Add guilt on top of that and the load becomes crushing. Guilt for wanting a break. Guilt for feeling overwhelmed. Guilt for not feeling happy enough. Guilt for snapping at your partner. Guilt because your house isn't the way it used to be. Guilt because you miss who you were. It's a guilt that never asked to be invited. It simply arrives with motherhood. But here's the truth. The mental load you're carrying is equivalent to managing a full-time job. And you're doing it while healing, sleep-deprived, and emotionally raw. Nothing about your exhaustion is a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are human, not a machine. The first step to easing this weight is naming it. When you say, "I'm overwhelmed," you're not complaining, you're describing your reality. And that honesty opens space for support. Share a small piece of your load with someone who cares. Ask your partner to take over one nighttime feeding, or ask a friend to bring a meal. Delegating doesn't make you less of a mother. It makes you a supported one. Another way to reduce the mental pressure is to let go of perfection. You don't need to respond to every message, keep the house spotless, or entertain visitors who drain your energy. If you need to ignore the laundry to rest for 10 minutes, that is responsible motherhood, because a regulated mother parents better than an exhausted one. And when guilt whispers in your ear, challenge it. Ask yourself, if my best friend felt this way, would I judge her? The answer is always no. Offer yourself the same grace you'd offer anyone you love. Your mind is doing an extraordinary amount of work right now. You deserve patience, softness, and understanding, especially from yourself. Asking for help in postpartum can feel almost impossible. Not because you don't need it, but because somewhere along the way you were taught that a good mother handles everything on her own. That belief isolates women at the exact moment they need the most support. The truth is simple. No mother is meant to do this alone. Not biologically, not emotionally, not historically. Community is part of survival, and yet modern motherhood often removes it completely. Building a support network starts with redefining what help actually means. Help isn't weakness. Help isn't failure. Help is allowing your nervous system to breathe so you can show up with more presence and less exhaustion. Sometimes support doesn't even look like someone holding your baby. It might be a friend dropping off a meal, someone folding a basket of laundry, or your partner taking over bedtime so you can shower without rushing. The next step is identifying who in your life actually supports you, not just who offers opinions. Look for people who make you feel lighter after you talk to them, not those who leave you feeling judged or drained. Choose one or two people you trust and let them into your reality, not the filtered version you feel pressured to show. If asking directly feels uncomfortable, use simple, clear phrases that remove guilt from the equation. You can say things like, "Could you hold the baby for 20 minutes so I can rest my back? Can you bring me a bottle of water? I'm feeling dizzy. Would you mind coming over for an hour? I just need adult company today." Or even, "I don't need advice right now. I just need someone to listen." These requests aren't burdens, they are lifelines, and the people who truly care about you won't hesitate. Also, remember that support can come from places you don't expect. Online groups, postpartum doulas, lactation consultants, mental health professionals. These resources exist to carry part of your load, not to judge you. You deserve that care just as much as your baby does. Pride doesn't raise a child. Community does. And allowing yourself to receive help is not only an act of self-care, it's an act of love toward your baby. Because a supported mother becomes a safer, calmer, more grounded mother. Let others hold you while you learn to hold this new version of yourself. When your days feel chaotic and unpredictable, the smallest rituals can become anchors. Gentle reminders that you still exist beneath all the layers of responsibility. In postpartum, self-care doesn't need to be grand or time-consuming. It needs to be simple, repeatable, and compassionate. Tiny actions, practiced consistently, support your nervous system far more than occasional big efforts. Start with 5 minutes. Truly, 5 minutes can shift your entire emotional landscape. Take a slow breath, unclench your jaw, place your hand on your heart, and exhale with a sound. This small release calms the stress response in your brain and signals safety to your body. It's not just breathing, it's resetting your system. Another ritual is reconnecting with your senses. Postpartum often pulls you into survival mode, where everything feels rushed and mechanical. So choose one sensory moment a day. A warm cup of tea held with both hands. A slow shower where the water hits your shoulders before anything else. A scented lotion that reminds you of who you were before all this. These sensory pauses bring you back into your body and out of the constant mental noise. Nourishment can also become a ritual instead of a task. Eat something warm once a day. Soup, oatmeal, roasted vegetables, whatever brings comfort. Warm foods ground the body and support digestion, which often becomes sluggish after birth. Think of each meal not as fuel to keep going, but as an act of tenderness toward the woman who is doing her best. Then there's light movement. Not performance, not weight loss, simply movement that reminds your body it is still yours. Stretch your neck, circle your shoulders, sit on the floor, and sway gently with slow movement releases stored tension and helps regulate mood, especially when sleep is fragmented. A simple nighttime ritual can help too. Dim the lights. Put down your phone. Place one hand on your belly and one on your chest and say one sentence of gratitude, not forced positivity, but something real. I made it through today, or I showed up even when I was exhausted. This rewires your brain to recognize progress rather than pressure. What matters most isn't perfection, it's repetition. These small rituals create moments of grounding in the middle of chaos. They don't erase the challenges of postpartum, but they remind you that you are still here, still deserving of care, still worthy of softness, still allowed to take up space in your own life. Sometimes, postpartum feels heavy in a way you can't explain. Not just tired, not just emotional, heavy. And deep down, you sense something is off. This is where paying attention to yourself becomes an act of protection, not fear. Postpartum depression and anxiety are more common than most people realize. But because mothers are expected to push through, many suffer in silence far longer than they should. One of the first signs is when the emotional fog stops coming in waves and starts settling in like a permanent shadow. If you feel sad most of the day, nearly every day, or if joy feels unreachable no matter what's happening around you, that's not weakness. That's your brain asking for help. Another red flag is relentless anxiety, thoughts that don't turn off, worries that spiral, fear that something terrible will happen to your baby even when they're perfectly safe. Anxiety in postpartum often disguises itself as being a responsible mom, but when your mind never rests, it's a sign you're carrying too much alone. You might also notice changes in your body, a racing heart, shaking hands, chest tightness, nausea, or difficulty breathing. These physical symptoms are your nervous system sounding the alarm. Pay attention if you feel disconnected from your baby or from yourself, not because you don't love them, but because you're emotionally numb or overwhelmed. This happens to countless women, yet few speak openly about it. Another warning sign is when everyday tasks feel impossible. Showering, eating, replying to a simple message. If everything feels like climbing a mountain, it's time to take your feelings seriously. And if you ever have thoughts of harming yourself or believing your family would be better without you, that is not you talking. It's the illness. Those thoughts require immediate support. Reaching out to a healthcare professional isn't an admission of failure. It's an act of strength. Therapists, doctors, postpartum specialists, they exist for moments exactly like this. You deserve someone who listens without judgment and helps you find your way back to yourself. You are not broken. You are not alone. And you are not supposed to endure this in silence. Postpartum challenges are real, and recognizing the signs is one of the most powerful ways to care for your mind and protect your well-being. Every mother deserves help, safety, and support, including you. Postpartum is a season that reshapes you in every way. Your body, your mind, your routines, your identity. Everything shifts at once. And yet, through all these changes, one truth remains. You deserve care just as much as the baby you're. The world often forgets this, but you cannot. Caring for yourself is not optional. It is a vital part of surviving and healing through this transition. You've seen how each layer of postpartum affects you: the physical recovery, the hormonal chaos, the emotional weight, the guilt, the need for support, the importance of grounding rituals, and the signs that something deeper might be happening. None of this makes you weak. It makes you human. Strong mothers aren't the ones who endure everything silently. They are the ones who learn to recognize their limits, honor their needs, and ask for help when the load becomes too heavy. As you move forward, focus on the small, consistent acts of self-care that keep you grounded. Drinking water before you reach exhaustion, stepping outside for fresh air, taking slow breaths, accepting support without apology, and treating yourself with the tenderness you offer everyone else. These actions build resilience far more than pushing yourself beyond your limits ever could. Remember that motherhood is not meant to be performed alone. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to struggle. And you're allowed to ask for what you need. Your well-being is not secondary. It is the foundation of your ability to care for your baby. If anything in your postpartum experience feels overwhelming, hollow, or frightening, reach out to a professional. Support exists for you, and seeking it is a step towards safety, clarity, and relief. You are becoming someone new, not losing yourself, but transforming. Be patient with this version of you. She is doing her best with the resources she has, and she deserves compassion, protection, and care every single day. Take the steps you can, ask for what you need, and hold space for yourself in this fragile, powerful season. You are not alone, and you never have to be. If this message supported you in any way, take a moment to support yourself by staying connected. Like this video, share it with another mother who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more guidance and real conversations about postpartum. Your well-being matters. Stay with us and continue this journey of healing and understanding.